right, guys, welcome. Grandpa Hoppy here. Just gonna do something a little different. You bear with me, but if you stay to the end, you're gonna get to see some dip there, guacamole dip. It's nothing special. It's actually, I hadn't even made this guacamole dip but a few times. I think this is my third time. So, welcome to the Retirement Chronicles. And it's what retirement people do. And so, anyway, with grandkids and my wife is still working, she gets home, and one of the things I do is she calls it deer camp cooking. And I will admit, I watched a lot of guys cook at deer camp throughout the years. I was a member of a hunting club for 20 years, and one of the biggest things we did was we cooked. I didn't do too much of the cooking, but I got to watch a lot of good cooks. So anyway, one of the things that drew me to the guacamole dip is when I got diagnosed with cancer, and it's all good. I'm doing great. I just went to the doctor yesterday and got rechecked. I get checked every 3 months, see how that's going. It's all good. Had a kind of a funny happen last weekend, or not last weekend, it was a Friday. I believe it was Friday. No, it's Thursday last week. I took my granddaughter to her first time beginner voice lessons and piano playing. And she's going to be taking lessons every week, an hour a week, and half piano, half voice lessons. She's 5 years old. And we were sitting in the room, and it's funny. It's just comical. Maybe it's not funny, but it was hilarious to us in the room. My granddaughter, all of a sudden, she's meeting this new teacher, Miss Ellie, and we're sitting there, and I'm sitting there with my wife. She had come over to Arkansas, was off on Thursday, and she came over for that meeting with the vocal teacher, and just sitting in there, and we're sitting there having this consultation of who my granddaughter is with her possible new teacher. And just out of the blue, she says, and my grandpa's got cancer. And we just busted out laughing. And, it's not cancer, I guess, is nothing to laugh about, but you got to have good humor. And she was serious, she was letting her teacher know that she cared about her grandpa, and I appreciate that. So, but anyway, one of the things I learned is guacamole is a great health beneficial fruit, and it does help give a lot of things that help you fight cancer and prevent cancer, is what I'm finding out on the research. So I said, I'm going to start eating guacamole dip, especially since my wife loves guacamole dip, and she gets it every time we go to a Mexican restaurant. So all we're going to do is you take the guacamole, and this is, like I said, I hadn't made this very often, but I started making it, and you just take it, you take your knife, and you get it, and you just go around. You can go vertical or horizontal, all the way around like that, and it just cuts it in half. You have the seed in, you just pull the seed out like that, and then when you do that, you take that seed and dispose of it, and then you take this, and I didn't get my spoon, so let me walk around here into the drawer and get me a small spoon. Get your spoon and take this guacamole and just take it in there and spoon it out. Comes out real easily. Put it in the bowl. There you go. And that's the guacamole. And I've got one of these automatic garbage cans that opens up by touch. Throw that in there. Get the next one. I got 5 of these, or I got 4 of these. Take that. See how quick this is. I'm gonna try to do this in about 8 minutes. Take this, go around, pull that out, pull the seed out. There we go. Got 2 seeds. Take the spoon, put it in a little bin there. I got a little bit more. Get all of it. I got these at Kroger this morning, You can buy them, and they're kind of expensive if you buy them individually organic. I think what they do is they start out, or they're all organic, I think, and I think this the newer ones, the most recent ones that aren't old, they sell as organic, and then as they get older, they move them over to the you get 4 for $5. So you pay about $2.50 a piece for them until they start turning darker, and then they sell them as organics. I may be wrong on that. I'm sure I could be corrected in comments by a Kroger employee, and I'd love you to like and share and make comments and correct me when I'm wrong, learning this process. But I think it looked like to me that 4 for $5, and it was the same ones, except the ones that are 4 for $5 are a little older and they need to get off the shelf. But I got the 4 for $5 ones. I didn't pay the $2.50. That would be like $10. So they're like half price. And I come home straight home, and this one didn't here pull out quite like I did on the other one. Sometimes that knife catches it and you don't have to pull that seed out by hand. Put them in there. That's 3, 1 left. Okay. Take it. I already washed all this stuff. Always wash your vegetables when you get home, because no telling how many pesticides they put on these things just to keep the bugs in the store off of them. And the last thing you want to do is be exposed to some kind of crazy drug, pesticide that causes cancer, like malathion. My sister had a bad experience with cancer, and it's a blood disease, and she's a survivor, like 20 years now, I think. And we suspect it was from pesticides. We don't know that for sure. But she's doing great. And she went to Nashville for about 6 months. Had a bone marrow transplant with my brother. All right, so I got the guacamole there. So, not all guacamole is made the different. You can make it different every time. I mean, really, you can see different things. Here's some small tomatoes. I'm just going to get them and cut them to smaller pieces. And these are the little baby ones, small tomatoes. Salad tomatoes, what I call them. I put a few of those in, so I got my blender here. Just gonna put them in directly instead of back in the bowl. And then I got some celery here. Walter, why you put a little celery, not much, but a little bit of celery in my guacamole. And reason, there's only one reason. It just kind of gives it a little grit. So you cut up this, I've already cut some of it up, but I'm gonna fine cut it a little bit more. I like a little bit of texture in my guacamole, because the blender's gonna blend it up. The guacamole's not gonna be chunky, it's gonna be blended. But I like putting a little celery in it, just a little bit. Not every time, but it gives it a little different texture. So, get that in there. And, you know, out here in the country, I wash my hands good. I don't have gloves on. Professional cooks probably have. All right, now I'm going to do something even different. I'm putting a little bit carrots in it. A little bit more texture with a little bit different flavor. Now, I usually put the jalapenos in it, and you get those seeds off. You get the seeds off. That's the main thing. I didn't do the jalapenos this time because the last time I made it, was a little bit stout because I didn't put an ingredient to try to neutralize a little bit of the jalapeno. And I actually forgot to get the jalapeno, so that's another reason. I didn't write it down on my list. All right, there we go. Got a few little small, fine carrots in it. Just a few, not much. I'm gonna put this in there. Guacamole. Now, last thing I'm gonna put in there some of these onions here. I'm gonna try to leave. I'm not putting all of them in there because I put too many onions last time, but I'm gonna try to neutralize this onion with a little bit. I thought, so I'm gonna put 1 ounce. Well, actually a half an ounce, 1 lemon for lemon juice, squeezed lemon juice. Putting 1 lemon in it. And I think it hopefully will neutralize. And you tell me what you do. Try to neutralize a little bit of the strongness of the onion. Because last time, you really couldn't taste it when you were eating it. But after you got through eating it, it was like onion taste. So I'm going to do it a little different this time. I'm going to add 1 squeezed lemon. Try to neutralize so much being in there. All right. I done made a mess here. That's okay. I'm going to clean it up. It's what you do when you're retired. I'm going to wash my hands right quick. And sorry, my cameraman is right behind you. All right. And hopefully it'll stay on track. Okay, I have one of those. Here we go. There we go. All right, I'm gonna raise this up. Christmas present. This is my Christmas present. And I did vote today. As you see my sticker, I put it on my blender. And we're just gonna, whoop. Yeah, I'm supposed to use this. Stop that from happening. All right, got that done, somewhat mixed up. Now, I'm gonna add a little garlic sauce, salt. I'm gonna do I'm just gonna pour it in there. Just a little garlic sauce, about a teaspoon, and I'm putting in a little bit of brown sugar, bourbon, black pepper. That's probably half a teaspoon. Putting in a little bit of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon. They say that's good for cancer too. So then I'm doing a little crushed red pepper to give it a little bite, just a little bit of bite. Ooh, I don't have the thing off of it. I bought it this morning. Just a little bit, not much. All right. And then a little bit of Italian Italian seasoning. All right, good enough. All right, here we go. Stir it up. All right. I think that's enough. Take my all right, guys, here it is. It's the guacamole. And we can put it in the, have our, And I'll just put it right back into this. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get put it in this. When Charlotte comes home, my wife comes home, I'm gonna have her the chips and the guacamole sauce. And I got some chicken legs that I'm gonna barbecue here in about an hour. I'm gonna have this in the refrigerator chilling. And use this to get the rest of it. Get all my $5 worth. There we go. There we go. Grandpa Hoppy, deer camp guacamole dip. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Until next time, because he lives.